The VA loan is such a powerful tool in terms of buying a home, but less than 25% of all veterans eligible for a VA loan are currently using it. I'm gonna make this video, share some facts, share some insight about the VA loan, why I think everyone should use it. My name is Travis Kopf. I am a veteran realtor in Jacksonville, Florida. But if you're looking for a home anywhere in the country, I can help you find a good realtor to work with. So if you need that, definitely shoot me a message. I'm gonna put a VA guide down below in the description. All you have to do is enter your information. I'll shoot that out to you. With that being said, let's jump right into it. So first off, if you don't know, you can use the VA loan to get seller concessions to help you pay some kind of debt, or maybe if you have a loan that is causing you monthly issues to qualify for a loan or have some kind of issues getting the loan, then you can use some of the concessions up to 4% to help you pay for a loan or pay for whatever it is that you need to get off your credit for that monthly payment. And that is just extremely powerful. Imagine, not only are you getting into a property with zero down payment, so you're putting very little cash down, if any at all, and you're also getting help to pay off stuff, right? So example, let's say like you're buying a home for $100,000, you agree to get 4% seller concessions from the seller, and you have a credit card that's $2,000 that you really need to get rid of. You can potentially make that work to where you pay off that $2,000 with the seller's concessions, so they can also help you pay for closing costs, stuff like that as well. Obviously, a lot of different stuff are factored into that, but just something to think about that a lot of people don't know about that I think more people should be aware of. Another cool thing that we'll talk about that everyone already knows about, so we'll just go ahead and jump right into it, is a zero down payment. This is actually insane. If you think about it, you are paying no to little money to move into a home to get an asset that is going to appreciate over time. You're going to build equity. You can refinance out of the VA loan, start using it as a rental, or keep it on the VA loan, whatever it is. But this is just so powerful. An example is I bought 3 new construction homes before with my VA loan. Each one of them, I have walked away with money at the closing table. One I walked away with like $2,400. The next one I walked away with $32,000, and then the other one was like $4,100, something like that, right? So not only have I gotten these assets, but I've also been paid to walk away with that. And that is just crazy to think about. You should think about that when you're thinking about your VA loan, is you are gonna get cool assets. You're gonna get amazing assets that you can use later on to use it however you want. If you need to pull money out of it, or if you wanna sell it to pay everything off, or if you have some kind of emergency, you have that asset to leveraging it. Another cool thing is going to be the PMI. You're not going to get any PMI with the VA loan, which is private mortgage insurance, because the VA loan is going to back 25% of what you are offering. That's why you are having a zero down payment, is because the VA is guaranteeing 25% to the lender, right? So private mortgage insurance could be kind of expensive. I have a person right now that is paying for it. So they bought a $400,000 house. It's around $350. It all depends on your credit, the situation, where the property is, the loan amount, interest rate, like all kinds of stuff vary into what your PMI is going to be. So it can be a little bit of a hassle to have this. So it's cool that you don't have it with the VA loan, because it can save you up to a couple $100 every single month. The next thing that we'll talk about is going to be low interest rate. So it's going to be lower than pretty much everything else. So anywhere from like a half a point to maybe a point, which can also help save you a couple $100 depending on the size of your loan and the term of it, all that good stuff. Tons of variation, or tons of things that go into those ideas. But this could save you a lot of money every single month. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing through. I don't want the video to be too long. But if you're thinking about buying a home, regardless of is the price or is the interest rate 6%, 7%? If you have a VA loan, it's always a great time to buy. It always sucks to rent. So something to think about is you're going to get a lower interest rate, but don't let the market scare you, because maybe it's a little bit higher on the other side, right? And I get that, like, you want to try and time the market. You want the market to be perfect, but I really recommend not doing that and just getting a property regardless, right? You are limited on closing costs. So the VA actually does a really good job on protecting veterans in terms of closing costs or getting screwed over with fees in terms of the loans, stuff like that. So sometimes you'll see FHA loans where the lender will give some crazy fee, right? You'll see people complain about it or sue about it. The VA loan is actually very good at protecting veterans from other things. Another cool thing about it is going to be if you put your escrow into a property. So escrow is basically saying, hey, this is a good faith down payment that I want to buy this property. And let's say your appraisal comes back that the house is worth less than what you're offering. You can pull out your escrow and get that back in majority of the times, as long as you and the seller have signed on it and agreed on it. And that is really cool. I like that a lot, that the VA is very, very good at protecting veterans. That is something that I wish happened more in terms of like conventional FHA loans, but at least we have it with the VA loan. Another cool thing is going to be no prepayment penalties. So if you have a payments every single year for 12 months, and you divide that by 12 and then pay the 1/12 every single month, you pay a little bit extra every month, that could cut your loan from 4 to 5 years potentially and save you thousands of dollars on a loan. And then so you own your loan, you own your home in 26 years instead of 30 years. That's 4 or 5 years and no mortgage. Another cool thing is that you're gonna have lower credit requirements. So a lot of people do struggle with credit when they come out of the military. I've noticed a lot of people that go into the military don't have any idea about credit, me being one of them myself. And so it's cool that you can come out and maybe have her credit, but still get a home, right? And still have somewhere where you can build, maybe have a safe place for your family, whatever it is. So typically you have to have around a 620, but I've seen veterans as low as like 575, 580 get a loan. They're definitely willing to work with you with a VA loan because they know they're going to get backed by the VA regardless. Another cool thing that most people are confused about is that you can use your loan more than once, right? You don't have to use your VA loan once and then be stuck with it forever. I personally use it 3 times, as I said, and it's a beautiful thing, man. To get a property that's gonna, appreciate, you're gonna be able to rent later on, you're gonna have equity, whatever it is that you tend to use the VA loan for, or like your goal. You can use it more than one time, and that is amazing. And you can use it for more than one property at one time, but it's kind of confusing. So we're not going to jump into that, but you can use it for more than one property at one time, but it is not like the most perfect ideal situation, and not everything applies to the second property. Another hot topic about the VA loan is going to be primary residence of the loan. So the VA actually doesn't care where you live if you get a VA loan and you use it. However, the lenders are the ones that care, right? So you're going to typically live there for maybe a year or two, but what I've been doing is I live in a house for a year or two, refinance to a conventional, and then move into a new house using my VA loan, right? And because I've been buying new constructions, I get warranties on top of this. I get new items, new furniture, or I'm sorry, new electronics, new stove, new fridge, all that good stuff. So you live in your house, right? You've used your VA loan here. Then you refinance to a conventional. You pay your 30, 40,000, whatever it is, and then you use your VA loan again to buy a new house. And then you rent this one out, and then it's just kind of a repeating cycle, right? And you can do this every couple of years, however long it is it takes you to save up that 30, 40,000, whatever it costs you to transfer to a conventional loan. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. That is something that a lot of people don't talk about, is that you can use this to kind of build a portfolio really slowly. You can use it to buy quadplexes, triplexes, or duplexes. However, I haven't used it for that personally. But you can use it for that if you want to maybe get a roommate, or if you want to start doing like a house share type situation where you buy a quadplex, you buy a quadplex, you rent out the other 3 units, you live in one, or whatever it is. I haven't done that personally, but it is very powerful. I've known a lot of people that have done it. I have a friend right now that has a triplex in Ohio that is renting out 2 apartments, lives in one, and just has them pay his rent, which is or his mortgage, which is really, really cool with their rent. Another cool thing about the VA loan is going to be you're going to have no official limits if you have full entitlement of the loan, which is just absolutely insane. So if you want to buy $1 million home, let's say you have the finances for it and you qualify for it, and then you want to buy $1 million home, you can still put $0 down and buy $1 million home with the VA backing 25% of that. And that is just absolutely insane. So you can potentially move into $1 million house if you have the finances and you qualify for the loan. Let me say that right now because I don't want people to get confused. If you qualify for the loan to buy $1 million house, you can use a VA loan to purchase the property, and they'll back 25% of it, so you don't have to put any money down. If you qualify for the loan, let me say that because I've had people get confused before thinking they could just go buy $1 million house, but they're making $3,000 or $4,000 a month, and that is just not going to work. You're going to have to qualify for the loan itself. So I just want to make sure that's clear. And then you have some refinancing options that I wanted to talk about. So you have the IRRRL, which is going to be the interest rate reduction loan with the VA loan. So essentially, it is a loan that is more steady like pace. It can move faster, it can go quicker, cost less to appraise, cost less to do, and then you could just lower your loan. So let's say your interest rate on your loan, so if you buy your house with an 8%, but now rates are at 6%, you could do the IRRL, and then you could move down to a 6%, and it's really cheap and more cost effective, and it's extremely quick compared to the other ones. And then you also have a cash out VA loan, which you can basically take your VA loan if you want to pull cash out of your house, because you can't do it with the IRL. Don't let people confuse you. But if you want to take your cash out of your property, you want to take this out with the VA loan, you can potentially just get a new loan on top of the house and then just take the cash of the difference that you have in equity. Again, my name is Travis Kopf. I'm a veteran realtor in Jacksonville, Florida, but if you're trying to buy a home anywhere in the country, I could potentially help you out and find you a real estate agent that works really hard in your area if you need that. My contact information is in the description below. I'm going to put a guide for everything down below, tons of valuable information. Again, thank you for watching. I tried to make it really quick because I know that veterans, we want to get the information, we want to get going and move on about our day, get some more stuff done. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your service, and I hope you have a great rest